Greetings and salutations to all you folks out there. I'm bringing you a cast today. It is on Canis, 5 versus 5, as you probably saw from that thumbnail that you just clicked on. Before I jump into this, I did want to mention that I had an announcement video that posted yesterday. It's called Brink Talks Twitch and YouTube. You should definitely go click on that thing. Basically, the short story is I want to go full-time on bringing this content to you guys. Part of that is I'm pledging to bring in a cast at least once a week, and to bring a subcom video every single day. If you would like to support the effort, you can find details over there or use the links in the description. And with that out of the way, we're going to dive in, introduce the teams, and get on with this game that you probably want to watch. Let's see what's on the north side. We've got Miko number 9 as Seraphim on the left-hand side, Torvi as Aeon in the air slot, Dr. No UEF on the right flank. We've got It's Your Funeral as Cybern on the front, shared with Gweezy as Seraphim. You guys know how Canis works out. Lots of reclaim, get your factories down, get your engineers out, upgrade your mexes, and then we've got right side covering here. We've got right center, left center, usually ends up over in this area. Air slot takes a couple of these mexes to round out their numbers, and then left side will come over this way. On the bottom side, we have Bobcraft and Carpe Diem taking UEF and Aeon respectively on the front slots. Left flank covered by What's Up? I am going to have a little bit of fun with that name, I can tell already. Seraphim on that side, and then Weed Whacker taking Aeon on the right flank. It's a little bit weird. I wonder if these guys picked random factions. That would make sense, because we do have UEF in the air slot and Aeon on the right flank. You would usually try to get Aeon in the air slot on a map this size because Swift Winds can be a total game changer. Let's go ahead and see how these guys spread out and then break down what is going on. Got a pretty well symmetrical move coming out for the two front players. It's Your Funeral moving out to collect a couple of mexes, then back up for the Hydro. Well, no, there is not a move order queued. I thought I saw a move order there just a second ago, but that is true for Carpe Diem. He is up to the front with an engineer, 2 mass extractors, and he's canceling his queues, so maybe we should not think too hard about this. Torvi sending an engineer over to the left. He's going to grab those 3 mexes, just like I talked about before, and an land factory build on the left side. I was about to be curious as to why, but I suppose he does want some tanks on this side. He could spam up his land factories over on this side and stream the artillery across the water. One of the advantages to those handy-dandy hover units at the T1 phase, but if he does want tanks, he's going to need factories over to this edge. Now, usually I will rush the commander up here in order to guard this choke point and not let any unit slip through, also be able to affect this area, but I suppose getting the factories down earlier would be a big deal, and since you only have 1 in your base, that'll also give you more engineers in order to reclaim all of these rocks. I would be curious to know exactly how much reclaim there is on this map, because there is a ton. Mech Marines moving in for It's Your Funeral. I misspoke, that is a Hunter. He is Cybern, so of course there would be no Mech Marines there. A successful reclaim venture. Oh! The last shot from the Hunter kills that engineer. 1 engineer kill for 2 Hunters. And not the greatest exchange rate there, but It's Your Funeral. You might have to try a little harder with that micro next time. Weed Whacker moving over to the right with his commander, building a couple of land factories up on the front line. This is more my typical preference for a build. We do have an air scout out for Torvi, but not a whole lot of air on the map this early in the game, which is a little bit weird to see, but I do suppose we have a more average Joe's range of rankings here, and it is not going to be that very heavy early airplay that you typically see in the 1500 plus matches. Gweezy popping off a unit there. He is going to cover his choke point with the ACU, and then after the second factory, looks like Miko canceled the 3rd one, and he is going to move his ACU up as well. This side can be interesting. On the left and the right for the north side, there's an extra bit of expansion mass extractors, so you do get more mass, you do get more reclaim. You can tech up very quickly and build a bunch of units, but it also exposes your ACU because you are very, very far away from your home base of operations, and if you don't build forward land factories, which you can see are going down right here, even if only from 1 engineer, lonely though he may be, those factories are going to supply your ACU with the unit mix that you need at the moment. And we've talked before about how when you can't respond with a unit mix very quickly, bad things can happen when you need more artillery or you need anti-air and your factories are way the hell over there. It can be hard to get units to the front. But I do like to see people building those factories up closer and keeping a closer eye on what is going on. So It's Your Funeral has pushed up using his ACU to repel those units that were trying to push forward. Bobcraft moving his ACU into the arena as well. Mantis versus those tanks, it's going to be pretty even on this particular matchup. The run-bys are where the Mantises shine, and unfortunately Canis does not offer a whole lot of opportunity for that. The Medusas are excellent anti-unit machines though, so that'll come in handy for It's Your Funeral later on. He is getting an upgrade. Did we see what he was getting? He does not have notifications turned on. However, we can see that Bobcraft is getting the gun upgrade, and Carpe Diem has already gotten one gun upgrade done and is pushing the other. So we are going to have a 2 ACU gun commander push, and It's Your Funeral, if he gets the gun, he might be able to handle himself relatively well, especially if he can slap a cloaking upgrade, or stealth upgrade, I should say, on that ACU and hopefully spoof the radar just a little bit. But if he got the T2 upgrade, he might be a little screwed at this point, because the T2 is not going to be done in time to get the fortifications up and deny that ACU. A T2 versus a gun comm, typically the gun comm wins close quarters and the T2 comm wins far away, obviously. But then the gun comm is going to be able to move around, go around the point defense. Who really knows what is going to happen later on in the game? There is a huge air advantage for the south side right now, which I would definitely recommend exploiting if you see your numbers being this high. Looks like... what is Torvi getting? Is he going for a T2 upgrade? That would be very, very weird. Maybe he is. He did. He did go for a T2 upgrade. Why would you T2 your ACU? That makes no sense whatsoever. So It's Your Funeral has the gun upgrade, and he is going to plow into all of these units. He has a slight numerical advantage, and he is popping those tanks left and right with that combat upgrade. Bobcraft pulling his ACU out of the fray, but here comes Carpe Diem to tilt the balance in the south side's favor. That double gun is excruciatingly painful in the early game. A lot of the Auroras were moving over to this side to help out the ACU, but are now being withdrawn in order to protect from this movement. Guizi pushing a lot of units up to the front. Right now there's no defenses over on this side, so he's probably going to break left. Yes, he is. He might be able to inflict a fair amount of damage, but there are a few units coming in from the left side. Please don't withdraw. You should have run in. You should have run in there, but it's not going to happen. Carpe Diem biting into the build power just a little bit. It's Your Funeral still falling back in front of what he now knows are 2 gun commanders. That's going to leave an opportunity for Dr. No to push his ACU up should he so choose. He does have the gun upgrade as well. There is a bomber. That would be a Janus, which is going to be absolutely devastating on T1 units. The spread on those bombs are real, and the Auroras are going to do a pretty dang good job of fighting off all of these units coming in. Mongeese, nope, Ilshivas, sorry, that is Seraphim Tech. Looking at the unit icons and not at the actual faction at hand. Ilshivas, though, are still going to be good versus Auroras. The range will help them out as opposed to trying to fight them off with T1 tanks. Looks like the entire center of the map has been secured by Carpe Diem and Bobcraft, who have no upgrades other than their gun comms. Could come back to hurt them later should there be some kind of snipe, but at the moment the air control is still strong. So I don't think the Southside team has anything to worry about. When you get in a situation like this that we just saw, where the Auroras were able to repel that attack, I would highly recommend just moving the units past and going for a run-by, because there was no way that they were going to be able to defend this base, and these units could have struck a critical blow on Gray's base. There's a lot of power down here. A little bit of power storage, land a couple of artillery shots, the whole array goes kablooey. Definitely could have gotten a T2 mass extractor down here, but the time she has been wasted, and now there are more units on the map with which to deny those things. Cerberus turret going down on the front line. It's Your Funeral building with the assistance of a couple of T2 engineers. Those Cerberus turrets will be able to deny those commanders, at least temporarily, until units can be brought up to assist. But now it looks like Dr. No is overextending into the center of the map to try to cut off the flow of units towards his team. If he's able to hold this, that is going to be immensely helpful, but I'm a little concerned about this movement over here. This looks like a pincer if ever I have seen one. That engineer, cheeky bastard, was up there reclaiming wall sections, I think. Or maybe these weren't ever built. I'm not entirely sure. I did not see. Somebody probably did. We'll leave a comment, I'm sure. But he is moving his tanks forward, going to try to clog up the pathfinding of these units and protect his ACU, although he's only really succeeded in clogging up his own pathfinding. We are now seeing a successful pinch. But no, there's a bungle in the pathfinding. Looks like an order was placed up here. Tanks started going around in the wrong direction. Now they've all split up and they're dying one by one to the greater numbers of Dr. No's forces. That ACU keeping out of range of the other two commanders and picking off the remaining tanks. Dr. No is going to be able to withdraw, and the north side is going to keep their ecos intact. For the most part, they lost a lot of stuff on the front line. The south side is going to get a reclaim advantage, at least in the short term, although there are units being picked up on the front here now. But everybody has come out safe. No deaths as of yet. So let's take a little look at the map here. We've got roughly 50-50 map control, maybe slightly favoring, ever so slightly favoring the south side. But with these troops withdrawing, it is now an exact 50-50 split. There's going to be a little push, which I don't think is going to be very successful at all due to the amount of units over here. There's a pack of wild Ilshubas roaming the plains on the other side of the river. They might not be able to cross, but they will be able to deny the Auroras that were trying to cross the river. And let's take a look at the bases. So we've got a T3 upgrade going for Bobcraft, T2 pumping out units for the front line. Got a T3 Air Factory online, building a T3 Engineer to get some power. T3 upgrade going for, that is Carpe Diem as well. On the north side, we already have a T3 upgrade in effect for It's Your Funeral, who is building a brick. That will come in very handy indeed. And he's already got 3 loyalists out on the front line that are pushing back the T1 units on the right. That is going to reclaim the entire center of the map, kill off all of these engineers that are reclaiming that precious mass. And hopefully that will help secure a little bit of an advantage for the north side team. We do have an earlier airplay out. It must be coming at the cost of an immense power stall. Storby only holding 3k power to the chest, and probably a lot of that is, nope, he has gone resource allocation. What on earth were you thinking, Sonny? But he does have a bit of air out slightly earlier than his opponent. Might have been good to rush a strap bomber there. I'm not sure if they haven't scouted the other side. There's the scout, but I don't think they had scouted before now, because none of that stuff on the bottom right was labeled. Let's check out what intel is to be had on the north side. Pretty good, actually. Most of the buildings are labeled. There's a missing scout right here, but the base itself has been scouted recently enough, so things are looking pretty good. Let's take a look at the ecos here. What's up is 93, far and away the highest of any of these guys. Torvi is in second place, followed by Weed Whacker, Carpe Diem, and Miko. It looks like there's a slight advantage to the south side. They've got a couple more places higher on the list for mass income. Yeah, just trying to do a little bit of math in my head. I think there's maybe a 7 or 8% advantage for the south side. Somebody is obviously going to correct me in the comments as well, because I did that math wrong in my head. I am sure. Coming back down to the center of the map. Is that? That is attack launcher, I see. Ooh, that is going to get nasty for some of these units out on the front that are not protected by TMD. Harvey up the front is going to help secure that. Miko is going to fall back. And now I do believe the lines have settled, at least to a certain degree. I was looking today because I was very curious about tack launchers. I wasn't sure exactly how much each missile cost. It seemed like I remembered there being 2 of them. Ooh, shield comm getting the overcharge in on those bricks. That will strip the shields away very quickly indeed. Carpe Diem falling back into the water just in time, but he has weakened the north side force. So I would say that is a bit of a win. The shield will recharge over time. These TAC missiles cost 180 per, not the 200 that I was thinking. And fun fact, if you have mods in place that affect your build power, it will spend more per missile because of the way game ticks affect eco draw. Because I was coming out with 186 mass per tick with heavy assistance on the TML. It's an inordinate amount of assistance, so I don't think you'd have to worry about that in every game, and 6 mass is not a deal breaker, but just a little window into the way that the Supreme Commander engine works, the Moho engine. So anything that costs 180 mass or more is worth the TAC launcher, but you do have to remember that this costs 850 to build. So that is something to consider. We're going to go over here to Red, and I am curious about this. He's building T2 land factories on the front line, which cost 580 mass and count as build power, obviously, because they're factories. So when you're looking for targets for your TAC launchers, you can look past mass extractors. I definitely wouldn't target most units, because units can move. It'd be a waste of a TML unless you're sure of a hit. This is a nice little push here, but unfortunately doomed thanks to all of the T2 point defense back here. Seraphim T2 point defense extremely good at killing both T1 and T2 forces. Plus you got a couple of ACUs on the front line that can overcharge Harbingers that are coming in. All in all, this is going to be a safe zone right here. Anywho, if you kill factories, both HQs, preferably HQs, because HQs dying puts a huge damper on your enemy's efforts to rebuild. But if you can kill support factories, build power, point defense, anything like that, you can make your mass back with that TAC launcher. And we see here, looks like he's going for a T2 mass extractor. Got a couple of restorers on the map. There are 2 people on the south side building T3 air, which is going to get frustrating very quickly for the north side, since they are probably going to lose air control. There's that strap bomber that I was hoping would have come earlier, and he is going to fly right into the enemy ASF. Not entirely sure what he's thinking, but that strap bomber is going to go down very quickly. He is going to make a run on the mass extractor, kill a little build power as well, and then those ASF are going to knock it out of the sky. I don't think that that was worth it. That was definitely more expensive than the thing that it killed. Carpe Diem, nice bomb. Well, I mean, yes, he did kill the thing that he was going for, but all in all, I think that was a waste of mass. Brick's going to pop up out of the water, kill off that TAC launcher, and then retreat. A couple of mobile anti-air here to kill off the restorers. T1 anti-air not going to put out enough damage to significantly affect that, but the ASF are going to rush in. Oh, bad news. They didn't clump their ASF together. However, the numerical advantage is just too high. The north side is still going to come out on the losing end of that. You got to clump your ASF together, because the more of a numerical superiority you have, the fewer the losses you are going to take, and then you're going to be ahead for the future as well. It's your funeral out here in the center. Do you have... You do. You have a torp upgrade, a gun upgrade, and stealth. So you are dangerous in the water, on the land, and due to your lack of a blip on radar. Gonna come right up behind these Percivals. You need to overcharge, son. Why are you not? You did. You could have gotten a triple, stripping away 2/3 of the health on that commander in just a split second. That is the power of the Percival with that huge alpha strike number. Let's take a look around the map once again, check on any potential nukes. We've got T4s to look for. We are at 22 minutes into the game, which is about the time that you usually start seeing some extreme level shenanigans, other than restorers, you know, the things that we're seeing already. Looks like Gweezy is going for an upgrade, probably T3. Maybe he has his... Nope, he does not have his mod on, I don't think. And on the south side, Weed Whacker's grabbing an upgrade. Got a fair bit of power going down. We do have a nuke defense on the south side, which is going to... preemptively help against anything that the north side might build. This is a bit of a contentious subject. I did learn just recently, I was under the impression that nuke defenses built at the same speed as nukes. As it turns out, that is not the case. Nuke defenses build in 4 minutes instead of 5. So if you are continually scouting, you do not necessarily have to build a nuke defense. You can invest that mass into something else, and as long as you're scouting consistently enough that you can finish the nuke defense within 1 minute of the nuke launcher finishing, and then you can assist it a little bit, your nuke defense will build in time to stop the nuke. So I guess the argument would be, from a skill standpoint, if you are scouting consistently, it would be more mass efficient to not build a nuke defense, because then you can put that, well, let's see. Let's check out exactly how much it is. We're going to go down here to Dead Dusty Killer. Hold on. Wrong person. Weed Whacker. That is the one that I was looking for. So that nuke defense costs 7,500 mass, which is approximately a third, almost half of a Monkey Lord. No, that is about half of a Monkey Lord. And that's also several T3 units. So you could get a combat advantage for not building the nuke defense and then crush your enemies. But on the other side of things, if you're not scouting consistently, or if you have concerns about what the other team is doing, that kind of thing, the nuke defense is a good preemptive building. Got some T3 units all over the place now. The armies are stacking up. The stalemate is real. There's now point defenses in place in enough areas that the chokes are kind of secured. I don't believe that any of these forces individually would be successful against these areas. However, if all of the units were put in one spot, a lot of damage could be done. There is a boatload of artillery over there, along with a relatively large pack of Authams. There is our first T4. A chicken is going to hit the field. Over on this side, T3 Titans. Why are you building Titans? That is a very strange thing indeed. And back here, are we building any other interesting things? A GC. There's a Galactic Colossus being built by 2 players. Should be done in relatively short order. Although on this side, there's 2 people building this one as well. It is definitely going to finish first. As long as that thing can be rushed in, I think the chicken could do a substantial amount of damage before the GC can come in, especially considering the fact that there are only Harbingers guarding the pass. There's enough Authams there to make a huge difference. Trebuchets moving up from the back. They're going to lay in AoE damage on the incoming units. That is a big, big deal in the Bricks versus Percival fight. Percivals will win versus Bricks straight up. However, the Trebuchets, with their huge area of effect and consistent damage output, can whittle down the HP of these units just enough to make a difference in the fight. However, the Bricks are not great enough in number to deny this push. There are simply too many Percivals. Maybe the point defense will make a difference. Maybe we can get a few more units up from the back. But over here on the left side, we do have a chicken moving up to the front. GC is almost complete, so the time difference is not as great as it could have been, but that chicken is going to move over to the right-hand side and try to put a damper on these Percivals. Over on the extreme right, Dr. No is pushing forward with his Titans. A bit of a mistake, I do believe, to build those things. They're going to run right into T1 point defense, and I don't think Titans will fare very well on a mass-to-mass basis versus T1 PD, especially when you throw in a couple of Oblivion turrets. They're going to kill the first. They're going to kill the second. I hear chicken firing, and there's the Authams moving in. Authams actually have a tremendous amount of damage output for their mass. It is superior to that of the Percival. However, the range is lesser and the HP is lesser per unit. So it's a little bit of an odd matchup. You can't exactly go on a one-to-one comparison, but generally speaking, the Percivals will win out with their greater range and superior alpha damage. This is starting to look really nasty on the right-hand side. Chicken is not going to focus the GC. Please turn. You're only using your little tiny Gatling gun as your Authams are slowly being sucked up one by the GC. That is the strength of the Galactic Colossus. It just negates T3 units regardless of the HP value, one by one. Shields coming in to kill off some of the damage from that chicken. GC going to survive with 11,000 health, leaving the tanks to die to the lightning storm of their fallen comrade. There's a GC moving to the right now. Weed Whacker whipped one out in order to save his T3 mechs on the other side. Looks like that move is going to be super effective. And Trebuchet is now moving up to hammer the base on the right-hand side. This is looking very, very good for the North team on this edge. If they can secure this base, knock this out of the way, and then potentially move up and get this reclaim, I think they'll be in good shape. However, the GCs are stacking up. I did forget about this one here. It's only got 10,000 HP. Should die to a couple of air units. 3 strap bombers would kill it pretty much outright. But, eesh, that was bad. Look at that. GC overstepped. Units are going to slip by, and it looks like a T3 mass extractor will be lost due to a misclick or a misorder, something of that type. Restorers moving in to try to rectify the blunder, but it is lost. The T3 mechs and the second T3 mechs are going to go down. I would call that a successful raid. GC just kind of hanging out up there. Not sure what is going on there. It's your funeral falling back in the face of the Percivals. Not entirely sure why he's running. He's under the water. The Percivals can't hurt him, and he does have the torpedo upgrade, so he's going to be able to hit those a little bit at a time. 2 GCs walking into the water. Are you... Oh, Harbinger's reclaiming the chicken in the center, but there is another GC out for blue. This is looking a little sketchy for the north side. GC is going to walk in right on top of It's Your Funeral. He's going to try to stomp him to death. Stomp, stomp, and Control K for the death weapon. It's, yeah, that's gonna hit. 2,700 HP left on the ACU. Not good, not good at all. GC coming in. The commander is sticking out of the water. Just the tops of his shoulder blades. It looks like he's trying to ground fire the ACU. There it is. 300 HP, and he's down. That was an expert level kill from Carpe Diem. Ground firing with the Galactic Colossus to finish off that ACU. That's going to be a huge number of bricks and loyalists. Plus the Trebuchets out of the game. The north side was okay right up to this point. It was looking grim, but they still had it. That, I think, might be the tipping point. There's one GC. Let's take a look around and see what else is coming. There is a second GC there that is nearly complete. Quantum Gateway going down in the back. That's 3 GCs plus a Fat Boy in construction with a 4th GC on the way. Lots of Percivals on the front line, although there are a significant number of Percivals plus a pile of broadswords. For the north side, this is not over yet. Chicken fainting versus the Galactic Colossus. Galactic Colossus is going to be the chicken in this scenario. And he is going to fall back first. Otham's moving to the right, reconsidering and moving back. Not entirely sure what he's hoping to gain by moving all of those T1 artillery to the front line. Otham's, of course, oh my. They are mostly going to be firing into the hilltop there for the first few rounds. Then they will start killing off some of those. Sniper bots going to go down to the artillery fire. Maybe a couple of Othams, but overall this is going to win out. A valiant stand indeed. But all for naught. Air coming in. That's a nice clumping there. Killed off a couple of scouts, I think, that flew in. Maybe a handful of ASF. The broadswords and the restorers are going to help out this air situation a great deal. I think, with proper micro, working together and using the gunships as a meat shield, air can be won at this time. But that's going to be... Oh, that is a bad engagement. You use your gunships for the meat shields and you engage behind them so that all of the shots are wasted. Broadsword's going to break to the right away from the main group. That is a total bungle. All the broadswords are going to fall. A lot of ASF were lost. A couple of restores. That is unfortunate. I hate it when that kind of thing happens. That could have been another turning point in the game. They could have gotten this reclaim. They could have gotten some more units out. They could have won the air, but just a really bad misplay by the north side. Dr. No and Torvi, 1,800 ranked player. I suppose we shouldn't beat them up too badly since they are below the average ranking. They still have a fair bit to learn. Maybe we can help them out here if they are watching the cast. If you have one decent air player, you should give all units to that player so that they can micro together unless otherwise specified. And at all times, clump your freaking air units. It will help you out in the long run. GC's moving in. Chicken is going to face off versus this one. Maybe he can get the kill. Point defense hammering this Galactic Colossus, which has 7,800 HP. 78,000 HP, rather. 73. Nico trying to overcharge it down. There is a veterancy. Not good news for the survivability of that ACU, but he does have 18,000 health. Still, GC hasn't focus fired it. Gunships coming in. This is going to be down to the wire. We've got 13,000 HP versus 5. Need an overcharge. 6K. 3. Whoa, buddy. 180 health. That is awesome. You survived it. GC going back out to the water. But no, don't walk towards the front. Move to the back. Run. Run away as quickly as you can. It's too late. GCs are in range, I think. Another GC coming to the middle to try to fend off these 3 moving in. The air units are still fighting, and it looks like white is winning. ACU goes down. There's the air win that I was talking about that would have been possible much earlier. Strat bombers are out on the front line. They're now going to be snapped up. Nope, ASF going to pull all the way back. Yellow building his own ASF now as well to try to secure air control, but at this point I don't think it matters. We've got 2 GCs, one above half health, plus a bunch of Harbingers with mobile flak to kill off the gunships. Air is no longer a big player in this game since most of the offensive units have been handled. Autumn's moving around the top left. We've got a brave offensive on the south side trying for a last push into the base to try and get an ACU kill, maybe eliminate some of these units that are on the map. But we now have 2 Fat Boys online plus Percivals, and I think that is going to be a lost cause. Yellow has turtled up to a drastic degree. I don't know why he's even built that many units. He could have put that mass into more Percivals, and it might have done him a little bit more good. Autumn's moving over to the right. They will, of course, be able to cross the water since they are amphibious. GC's moving into the base, and I think that is going to be all she wrote. The last of the yellow units are dying on the south side. And that GC, oh, there might be one more GC, but I don't think it'll be enough. The land that they have lost, the eco that they have lost, is just going to be too much. GC moving in to fight. He is under shielding, so he's going to have an advantage there. 2 GCs versus 1, though. Oh! I missed a nuke. There is a nuke, and there's not. There is a nuke defense. Torvi has been defeated. The nuke defense is getting shot down. That is all, folks. The nuke's gonna collide. Here comes the yellow ACU moving in to meet his doom valiantly. ASF gonna take him out in the transport, and that is all. South side wins with all members intact. Man, they just started falling like dominoes there at the end. Great game. Thanks for sending that in, Bobcraft. If any of you guys have a replay that you would like me to consider for casting, please do send that in. The best way to do it is on the Discord server. Send me that Forge Alliance Forever replay file in a direct message, the file itself, not a number. Sometimes things get corrupted in the vault, sometimes it's hard to find things. The actual replay file is a good thing to send, or you can send it to the email in the description. Like I said at the beginning of the video, definitely check out the update video that I posted. The link's in the description if you would like to support the channel, and I am gonna get out of here. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.